Hey everyone, Andrew here. I run MMA Knockout Bets. For those of you who don't know me, been in the MMA betting space for quite a few years now. Decided recently to start putting some content out onto YouTube. Did a couple of fight breakdowns last week. Today wanted to try something a little bit different. People talk a lot about what makes a good handicapper and what doesn't. And for those of you who really don't know anything about betting, there are what's called MMA handicappers, people who analyze betting lines and bet on fights, trying to make a profit. And those people often also try to pitch their own content to other people who want to make money betting on MMA as well. I consider myself among those people. I have a Patreon. I have a third-party tracked record that dates back to early 2018. And so I'm here to talk about 5 things that can qualify you as a good handicapper, and really 5 boxes that need to be checked when evaluating if an MMA handicapper is worth tailing, is worth spending your money on, is worth spending your time on, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so step 1, pretty obvious. They have to be good at MMA betting. You have to, and I know it sounds funny, but most people aren't good at MMA betting. It's really hard to do. I would say 99% of the people who bet on MMA aren't good at it. They don't have an edge on the books. And I'm not saying that to be mean or to be rude or whatever, but there's a lot of people who bet on MMA that don't have any particular edge, and you don't want to be tailing someone like that when you could be tailing someone that does have an edge and is actually good at MMA betting. Number 2, they have to be third-party tracked, and what that means is they have to have a public tracking record that isn't accessible after the fact. So I might have said that poorly, but the way a third-party tracking site works means that you enter all your bets onto the site, and it's a third-party site, so it's not affiliated with you. So for example, a lot of people in our space use Bet MMA tips, and to personalize it, I put my bets in Bet MMA right after I make the bet. There is no entering bets once the event has started. There is no entering live bets. There's no going back and editing your own record. You really can't forge a third-party tracking site. So number 1, good at MMA betting, obvious. Number 2, have to have a third-party tracking site. Number 3, the MMA bettor that you want to be tailing should have a big sample size. I mean, anyone could kind of get lucky in a 10-fight run, in a 20-fight run, even a 50 or 100-fight run. And there's other people who try to stretch out 50 bets over a year to kind of make it look nice, or maybe 20 bets over a year, 1 bet a month. You get what I'm saying? Not that those people are automatically not good bettors, but it's you could kind of weave out the variance after about 500 bets or so. And so I think having a big sample size is very important. What's that number? That's up to you to decide. For me personally, I think once you're into the few hundreds, maybe around 500 is when you can start to say someone has a big sample size. I personally have like 1,100 or 1,200 tracked bets over a 3.5 year time frame. I think that's a pretty large sample size, but also you don't want to be one of those handicappers that's betting on 50 bets per card, and that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people who are just consistently betting and winning over a long period of time. So that's number 3. So good at betting, third-party tracked, big sample size. Number 4, have to be transparent. So transparent about their unit size. And what is a unit? A unit is a percentage of bankroll. In theory, some people like myself use the fixed unit system. So I currently am using $300 per unit. And so what that means is if I make a bet for 3 units, that's $900, means I'm risking $900. If I'm making a 5-unit bet, that means I am risking $1,500. So I think should be a requirement for a capper selling their picks, trying to get people to tail them, et cetera, to be transparent about their unit size. I've always been transparent about mine. I was transparent when it was $100. I was transparent when it was $200. I was transparent when it was $300. I'll be transparent when it's $1,000. And being transparent, again, not only extends to the unit size you're using, but the odds you're getting, the bets you're making, et cetera, et cetera. I know for a fact there's people out there that are tracking odds that they don't get, people who are saying they got better odds, saying they somehow always get the best odds possible, and they never post bet slips. What I do is a lot of the time I post my bet slips with the odds that I got it at, just so people could match it up with the tracking site to make sure I'm tracking exactly how I bet. So me personally, again, to personalize this, I make the bet. Immediately after, I put it into Bet MMA. I put it on my Patreon for people to see. And then after the event's over, I screenshot my bet slip, put it on Twitter. My Twitter is at Bets and Picks MMA. You could see the bets I make after the fact. If you want them before the fact, you get it on my Patreon. You get it at Bet MMA. But yeah, so number one, you have to be good at betting. Number two, you have to be third-party tracked. Number three, there needs to be a big sample size to tell if you're a good better or not. Number four, you have to be transparent. And number five, reasonably priced compared to returns. So if you're up 5 units in a year, you don't want to be charging people $100 per week for your picks. It wouldn't add up for them. I personally, again, I have to personalize this because I'm one of the people who you could be evaluating and saying, is this person worth tailing? Is this a handicapper that's worthwhile going after their picks? I charge either $25 for a month or $10 for a card. The $25 a month is on my Patreon. That starts at the beginning of the month, ends at the end of the month. You could get my picks for $10 a month on $10 a card on Bet MMA. Again, I think that's very reasonably priced considering I was up 91 units last year. I'm up 60-something units this year. I personally made my clients more than $1,000 on this, even if they're $100 bettors, which is way less than what I am at. Even if they're $100 bettors, they made more than $1,000 just this past weekend. Obviously, that's not going to happen every weekend. I'm not trying to say that, but what I am trying to say is it has to be reasonably priced compared to the returns you're going to get. So you might know, okay, if I'm going to pay Andrew $25 a month, chances are he's going to make me a lot of forgive my language, he's going to make me a lot of money. But if you say you go on someone's record, you see that they were up 3 units last year, they were up 5 units the year before, and they're charging $100 per card. That doesn't really make much sense. So to recap again, is this person worth tailing? Number one, are they good at MMA betting? That's number one. It's obvious. Number two, are they third-party tracked? Number three, do they have a big sample size? Number four, are they transparent about their unit size? The odds they're getting on bets, and last but not least, are they reasonably priced? Does it make sense? Is the ROI there for me? So hopefully that helped. And again, those are the things I would look for when looking to tail someone for MMA betting, whether it's me or someone else. There is real money to be made on MMA betting. I'm living proof of it, and I believe that you all can do it too. If you want my bets, my Patreon's linked in the bio. My Bet MMA is linked in the bio. My Twitter is at Bets and Picks MMA. If you ever have any questions, just shoot me a DM, comment on this video. I'd also really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. It would mean a lot to me, and feel free to interact in the comments. Happy to talk to you all. But enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll speak to you soon.